Now let's move on to the IK system. So I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is we are finished with the FK system. The bad news is we're still rigging. Jeez. This used to be my profession. And now I'm free. Alright, so let's take my skeleton or my controllers, right? So marquee select the 4 controllers and let's create a display layer. And this is temporary, right? So I'll just type FK for right now. It's temporary, just to turn on and off, and so that it doesn't interfere with my selection. We're going to work on the IK skeleton now. Right, let's bring the skeleton back. There it is. And let's get to it. Let's select the IK handle. Actually, it's not an IK handle yet, but the IK joints. Let's look for IK handles. Let's look for skeleton. Create IK handle. Open it. Make sure that the current solver is set to rotate plane. Select the leg. And then select the ankle. So that will be my aim target in order for me to bend the knee. So if I hit Control 1 right now and I select my new IK handle right here, take the move tool and move it. And there you go. Right, so now we have a bend for the knee. And if you want to see it with the mesh, simply select the switch. And if you remember that switch, the IK switch that we worked so hard, right? When the switch is on 10, FK is turned on. When the switch is on 0, IK is turned on, right? So IK red, FK blue. IK red, FK blue. I can make a song out of this. All right, that's enough. I'm wasting time. But you do get the point, right? Switch is on 10, 0. So now if I want to test the IK handle, there we go. Please Control Z if you test the IK handle. You cannot freeze transform these little bad boys. And then after, it's complete chaos. It's utter chaos. That's my British accent. I could get better, but I'm not. I can't do it. I can't do it. And I'm not mocking the British accent. I'm just saying I can't do it. So it's quite hard. That I can do. I'm wasting time. Let's go. Let's call this one left leg IK handle 1. Awesome. We're going to create some controllers, but before we do that, we're going to create more IK handles. So let's go back to the skeleton. Skeleton, create IK handle, and we're going to create another one from right here, the ankle to the foot. So this will be the same thing. Boom, bada beam, bada boom. There it is. Let's call this one foot. Right, and we're going to create one last IK handle. Now pay very close attention for the last one. The last one, I think that for the last one, I'm going to create let's create a skeleton and IK handle. We'll make it a single chain solver. All right. There we go. So from the toe to the end of the toes right here. And this is a single chain solver. Remember, the current solver was completely different from the other one. These were rotate solver and this one is single solver. So I'm going to go back and hit Control Z so that we can do it again, right? Skeleton and create IK handle, single chain solver from the toe to the end of the toe. So now we have one last one. All right, let's hit Control V and this will be toe. Right, so we have 3 IK handles now. Right, as you can see. Awesome. Okay, so let's create some controllers now. We still have that NURB circle right here, and if you don't have one, you can easily go to curves and just create one. We're going to open the script controller box, the multi-controller, and we're going to create a cube. It's a controller and hit create. All right, shape it really fast. Shape it, shape it, shape it, shape it. There it is. There it is. Awesome. So I want to have a nice shape for this one. That should be okay. Yep, that's okay. All right. I want to make sure that I have my double group cleaned up, right? So this will be my left IK foot CTL GRP. And this is a controller. Awesome. We don't need the last group, right? The first group of the hierarchy. So just select the left IK foot control, Shift P. We don't need this one, right? So that now if you take a look at the hierarchy, it's clean, right? Controller and the group. All right, hit Alt 2. Use the D key, the letter D, and use the V key to snap it right here. So that will be for the group. Do the same thing for the controller, right? V key, snap it, space bar, hit D again to deactivate it. Okay, it's a little bit off, so that's fine. You can turn off this one, turn off the skeleton. Whoops, it looks like we have IK handles in a way. Let's turn these off, or not off. Turn the visibility off for the IK. I think that should be okay right here. Yeah. We're not trying to make an art out of these controllers, just something simple, basic, so we can easily select them, right? I'm going to bring my IK handles back to life. So Shift H to de-isolate your, not de-isolate, but to unhide your controllers. We're going to select that curve again right here. And we're going to create another cube. Actually, you know what? We could just select this one and hit Control D. Bring it up, and this will be a controller for the knee, right? So we can use the all script for this one. This needs to be a very, very small controller. Awesome, hit F so we can zoom in. And I want to make it boxy. Awesome. There it is, skeleton, body. Where's the body here? Nope. Okay, that's fine. All right, so I like my controller now. Let's take a look at the front. Very cool. Actually, let's bring it right here. Much better. Much better. We're going to push that back just a bit because we're going to bend that knee, and we don't want the knee to overlap, right? We don't need the knee to overlap the controller. So we're going to make sure that we have this set. Okay, so we have everything going. Now, let's change the prefix for this. So this will be a left IK. We'll call it a knee. We call it a pull vector, but that's fine. We'll call this one a knee. And same thing for the next one. Call this one knee. Controller. One is a group. Awesome. All right. So we're going to bring our IK handles. Shift select the controller and hit P. Right. So that now when we select our controller, the IK handle is there, right? Okay, awesome. Let's close this control box. We now have the left side almost set. And you can also test it out if you like. It's not perfect yet, but we'll take care of it. Oh, and by the way, it did do something weird, right? If you run into this issue, it's just a transform issue. Because if you take a look at these transforms, look at these crazy scales, right? So it's just a scaling issue. So don't worry too much about this. you can always just unparent the controller, or you can hit Control Z, right? We forgot to clean those double groups right here. So you can easily clean them right now. Freeze transform. Make sure that you freeze transform the next one too. Now if you bring these IK handles again one more time, shift selected to the controller, hit P. So under that controller you should have the 3 IK handles. And if you rotate these, now you don't have that scaling issue. It tends to happen sometimes. It's quite annoying. And a lot of people just break their head, and it's just a simple freeze transform on that on the group. So don't be alarmed. Everything's okay, right? So let's also select my left knee controller. Control select the left leg IK handle, which is right here, as the second selection. Go to constraint and select pull vector. So that now when you select your controller, you can easily bring this up, and now you have a controller for the knee. Okay. All right, so let's hit Control Z. Why don't we just hit Control Shift S? We're not finished yet, but let's save this one. This will be part 2. Let's also create and capture a thumbnail on the feet. Capture. Save it. Save. Continue. And set. So at least now we have a nice thumbnail preview for the next time you want to open up a file on the content browser, right? Yeah, I think that's what we want. That's what we want to do. All right, so we have that IK handle, and we have this going. We're not finished yet, but we got the basic elements for an IK, right? So if I were to select my IK, you can see, you can bend it. This is basic to its core IK system, all right? We're also going to create a follow-through for the knee group, right? So we're going to select this controller. And we're going to take, not yet, but after we're going to lock and hide these scale attributes, but not yet. So we're going to select this controller and scroll down, look for the add attribute, which is also on modify and add. Add an attribute on that controller, and we're going to call it knee underscore follow. And this time we're going to use a different data type for the switch, right? The switch. It's going to be an enum, and what the enum does basically, it works like an on and off switch, so it doesn't slide smoothly like the IK-FK system. This one actually just snaps right away, and we kind of want this for the knee to follow this controller. Now you'll know exactly what I'm saying in just a second. Where you're going to select the first name, we're going to call this one follow. Simply call it follow. Just follow me to the yellow brick road. Oh, sorry. Unfollow. Hit enter. So we have follow and unfollow right here. So you will have 2 options for that attribute. You're going to hit OK, by the way. So now if you select your IK handle, you have a follow and unfollow attribute. All right, so the point of this is that when you lift the leg, you'll notice that the knee doesn't really follow. And it could be problematic after, right? So if you move it this way, you'll notice that now the knee has this aim target to the IK foot has an aim target to the knee, right? And I see something off too on the mesh. You see that those nasty vertices? We can take care of that right now, actually. Let's do this, because that's annoying. That's really annoying. Let's do Alt 1. We don't need the skeleton, but it's a quick fix. It really is a quick fix, right? We just want these vertices. So now that you've binded for so many years, you can select these vertices, go back to the component editor, and you can see exactly what's on and off. You see that there's influence coming from the right side, and I don't know where these came from, but I want to make sure that we don't have these anymore, right? So I'm going to select these vertices on the foot, open the component editor, and whatever's right is not right. Shift select the last vertice, hit 0 so that we don't have this issue anymore. Now, I don't know why this happened. It's maybe because I have a pure bad luck, I guess, on this tutorial. But I'm going live, and I'm not going to stop. I won't stop. I can't stop. Hit 0 and enter. There it is. All right, so we don't have this weird vertice issue. All right, to get back to the point, right? So I procrastinated, and you see what happens? Now I don't even know what I'm doing. What is the meaning of life? I don't know. I hear my cat, though. It's all right, buddy. Alt 1 to get my controllers back, right? And you see when you clean your controllers, you can always use the 0 script right here. It's a very cute little script that I made, and I can't find it, but I see it on the other side. Oh, there it is. There it is. I zeroed it out, but I can't see it. There it is. It's a really, really small script, but it does zero everything out, right? The translate, the rotations, all together. So you could get back to reality. All right, so I went too fast. But I can't really move it. That's the only thing I don't like about this one. It's hard to move. All right, we'll keep it right here. So it's right here. It's called the 0 script. All right, so we have this going, the left IK and the left pole vector. So what we're going to do is select the controller and control select the left IK knee control group, not the controller, the group, right? So let's do this again. The foot controller and control select the upper group for this controller. We're going to create a parent constraint. And we're going to take this parent constraint and use the set driven key. So it should be under animation, key, set driven key. We can create a shortcut by the way for this one if you want. But I'm not going to use it for too long. We're going to keep it here. And there's my parent constraint. All right. We're going to use this attribute right here. And we're going to key it. But first, we need a driver. We're going to select the controller and load it as a driver. Right, so we're doing the same thing as the IKFK system, but a lot simpler. Controller, select the knee follow attribute and take a good look at your knee attribute. Right, it says follow, which means that your constraint should be turned on because it follows the knee. And when it unfollows, we're going to turn it off. Now, these constraints, they usually work with binary numbers, right? So 0 and 1, that's it. It's really that simple. When it's on 1, it's turned on. So now I can hit key. But if I select my controller, and we're going to unfollow the knee right now, we're going to select the constraint, and you're going to turn it off and set a keyframe. I hope I didn't go too fast, but we've done this before with the IKFK system, right? So a quick recap. We selected that controller. We made it follow. We selected the orient constraint, or the parent constraint, and we hit a keyframe. We made sure that this is on 1 because it follows, and we set a keyframe. Then we selected a controller again, and we unfollowed, which means that when it's on unfollow, we can lift the leg, and it's not following the controller. But if you do follow it, now you'll notice that our knee controller is following the IK foot controller. Does it make any sense? Right? It serves a purpose though. So if I were to rotate it, right, you can see the difference between follow and unfollow. Right? Okay, awesome. So let's keep it on follow for right now and use a 0 script. Get back into it. Awesome. What we're going to do now is we're going to group a lot of things together. We're going to group the entire left IK system. So we're going to select both of these controllers, and we're going to hit Control G, and we're going to call this one left IK CTL GRP. All right. We're going to hit Control D. Now, pay close attention. We're using a technique as so like we're creating a group as a bait, right? So we can switch to the other side. We're going to hit Control G. And we're going to type -1 on scale X so that we merge to the other side. Everything is flipped, but we do need to clean it, right? So if I were to open up pretty much everything in there, you can use a mirror script too, but that's fine. You need to delete the constraint. You need to delete the IK handles so that it's clean. We also need to rename and change the L_ prefix to R_. So we're going to look for the search and replace tool. And it's already set because we've done it before. So it kind of automatically recognizes your prefix and hit apply. So that now we have the R_ and it follows through. Yay! So now we have the right side done. So now that I have these set, I kind of want to hit Shift P on that group. Okay. There it is. And please double check and make sure that everything is pivoted perfectly, which it is. And you know why? Because we paid very close attention to our symmetry before, right? We wanted to make sure that we are perfectly fit to copy and paste from left to right without any issues. We haven't had any issues yet. There was a 0.0000001 offset, but it doesn't really matter. Life's not perfect, buddy. It's not. Hit delete so that now we have this set. Hit Control S. Now we have to recreate. We have to recreate the IK handles, right? So now it's going to be pretty easy. So let's select the left IK skeleton. Hit Control 1. All right, we hit Control 1. We're going to create, not a constraint. I'll go to skeleton actually. Rigging, skeleton, an IK handle. Oh, double check the IK handle before. See? So I work too fast, and then there it is. The current solver should be set to rotate. Right, so from the leg to the ankle, it should be a rotate plane solver. And from the ankle to the foot, it's a rotate plane solver again. And from the foot to the ankle, it'll be a single chain solver. Or, yeah, single chain solver. So, rotate, rotate, chain. 3 IK handles, just like the left side. So let's work with the rotate plane solver from the leg. Boom. To the ankle. Hit the letter G for next action. And do another one. And you can see IK handle 1 and 2. Right. So hit the letter G again, but this time change the current solver to single chain solver. Boom. And you'll notice that the single chain solver only has a 1 joint distance between each other. And the rotate plane solver usually has over 2 joints, right? So, which helps us to bend the knee. But this one, we're going to use it for something else. All right, we're going to rename all of these IK handles so we can always go back to the left side, right? And just copy and paste the first one. So the first one will be the leg, but this is right side. Same thing for the next one. That will be the foot. My foot. There it is. Awesome. Hit R. Now we have it clean. We have the right leg, right foot, Look at that, I went too fast. See, I go way too fast, and this happens. So, hit enter. I messed again. I went too fast. Okay, I messed it up again. Yeah, that's fine. Hit Control 1 to de-isolate the scene, so now we can easily take our IK handles. And, oh, let's make sure that these controllers are clean, right? Now look at that. See, this one has a 180 rotation. So I want to make sure that this is clean. All right, it's got a 180 rotation. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let's take our IK handles, shift select the left foot controller, the right foot controller, the controller, not the upper group. Take a look at the outliner and hit the letter P. So that now when we select our right leg, we have that going. Right. Let's also select the left. There it is. Select the left side for the switch. So that now if you select this one, we have the bend. And you can always use the 0 script to get back to reality right here. Bind post position, not reality. But so we did have a little issue, right? You see, these need to be cleaned up. You can easily select the freeze transformation, but here's what happens when you do that. And that's only because there's so much involvement right here, right? You got the IK handles and you got the controller and the knee controller. So I want to make sure that we select the foot control group and hit Shift P. And you'll notice that when I did it, that rotation and those values just jumped to that group. So that's also going to cause an issue. Right, so this tends to happen, but we did have an extra double group. And we're going to, well, actually, where is it? I can't find it. It looks like it went away. It disappeared. I don't see it. All right, that's fine. All right, so let's clean this up. And it's actually not that hard to clean it. You can take the IK handles and hit Shift P and just clean that up right now. All right, let's select the freeze transformation. Everything's clean, and bring the IK handles back to the controller. That easy, right? So those IK handles do carry a lot of weight for the foot, but now it's back to normal, right? We just unparented the IK handles and brought them back to under the controller. That's all we did, right? And we freeze transformed all of our attributes. We keep it clean. We also, yeah, I think that we're ready for pull vector. I don't like the pivot of the pull vector, but I'll let it slide for this one. That's fine. Let's select the right IK knee controller. Control select the right leg IK handle. And let's look for constraint and select the pull vector. So that now when we take that up, right, we do have the knee working. All right, let's work on the last feature for the IK handle, and then we'll move on to the reverse foot controller. There. Select the, no, let's see, switch. Okay, good. We're going to select the IK handle here, and also select the pull vector. We're going to open up the set driven key. So make sure that the pull vector is selected and load it as driven. Right? So that would be my pull vector. Oh, no. I'm sorry. What am I doing? Select the knee controller and then control select the group right here. Oh, sorry. Okay, I want you to select your right IK foot controller, load it as a driver, right? Now you're going to control select the right IK control group. You see it's right here. But did you notice that this group is not on the same chain? Well, keep it this way, right? select the upper group, and create a parent constraint. We're going to take that parent constraint and load it as driven. Right? We're going to do the same thing that we did before, right? For the left side. So if we were to select the knee follow right here, it's on follow. So select the parent constraint attribute, knee follow. Select the constraint. It's on 1, so it's ready to go. Let's key it. Oh, it's telling me that it's not recognizing it. That's only because I didn't select it. So yeah, key it. Select the controller and now set it to on follow. Select the constraint, set it to 0. And there it is. And there's my cat. That's recording live, by the way. Hey, this is a free class, all right? I'm not getting any money for this. All right, so yeah. So I'm going to hit Control S and save my work. We are done for the IKFK settings. Right, if you want to test it out, just test it out now. Boom. Select the controller, move it. Right, select the controller again and go to follow. And now you can see that the knee controller follows just like it does on the other side, right? And then if you want to zero that out. Okay. So now we can select both controllers and use the zero script and get it back to its original bind pose position. I'm going to close everything, or just this, and do a little quick recap, right? So don't forget that we have a center of gravity right here. And take a look at this. Now it's recognizing the weights of my IK handles. You can do that before. Right, so let's get this, what's going on? Yeah, I see that some joints are laying out right here, and these might be extra joints that we don't need. Oh, actually, oh, never mind. It's the FK system. Yeah, it's the FK system. No worries. All right. You can test the character out a little bit. Everything seems to be working properly. Awesome. Okay. So after this, we'll take a look at the reverse foot technique. We're going to create some attributes so we can have more flexibility for the foot. Okay. All right. So now that we have the IK and FK controllers set, they are ready to go. Just don't forget that we have a display layer for the FK system, right? We're going to add a color to the FK controllers. And let's do this right now. If you hit the blue script, you're going to have a message error, which is normal because you have a display layer. So just make sure that you delete this display layer, right? Because it takes over it overrides the controllers. So right mouse click and delete the layer. So now if you select both IKs and FKs, select the blue script, and voila. C'est un contrôleur qui est bleu. Blue. You ever heard that song? I'm blue, bada bee, bada boom, bada bee, bada boom, 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 boom. This is a rigging class. Can you believe it? No, I can't. We're going to create a visibility function for IK and FK, which means that when we select this controller and we switch from IK to FK, well, you want to know if you're on IK or FK, right? Instead of just looking at the numeric value right here. We just want to see a clear visual. So when you're on IK, red controllers appear. FK, blue controllers appear. Sounds right, right? Okay, so let's do this. We're just going to turn off the visibility for these controllers. But we're going to do it smartly. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's a time bomb. Oh, what is that? Yeah, that's a watch. All right, so let's do this. We're going to open up the set-driven key, but first, before we do that, let's select the FK system. Right, so FK leg control group, the left side, and we're going to take the left let's see, left IK. There it is. Left IK control group. Right, so 2 groups. Let's open up the set driven key. Now we have the groups there. We're going to select the switch for the left side. Open up the driver. All right, and we're going to make a visibility function now. So when the switch is on 0, if you still remember how the switch works, when the switch is on 0, IK is turned on. Switch is on 10, IK is turned off. Makes sense, right? You make that switch. It's like an electric current, right? But when you're on 10, FK is turned on. Switch is on 0, FK is turned off. Switch is on 10, FK is turned on. Okay, let's get to it. So the switch is on 0, which means that your control group, visibility, FK should be turned off, right? Because we're on IK mode. Makes sense, right? Set a keyframe. Make sure that all 4 are selected, just like this. Now we're going to take a look at the FK system. Select it. And we don't need to do anything because it's already turned on. So set a keyframe. So now that we have that covered, we're going to do the same thing, but vice versa again. It's good to be repetitive like this, right? So select the switch controller, and now we're going to move on to FK mode. So on FK mode, right, we select the FK legs or controllers, and this time we turn on the controllers and set a keyframe. Right, so if we're on FK mode, we expect to have the IK controllers turned off. Right, so it's like on and off and set a keyframe. Always set a keyframe for anything that you do within the set driven key. So that now when we select the controller, right, we have the switch, IK, FK. FK, select controllers, rotate. Select the controller, IK. And animate or retard it, right? This is the most basic IK FK setting that will help you with the HIK system. Great for cleaning up after. Right, we need basic controllers, right? Nothing too complicated, just because that's what we need for the HIK. Unless you're making a super complicated character, things that have like 5 legs and 3 heads. Now we're talking about something miraculous. That's not the word. All right. So we have this on this side. Let's do the same thing on the other side, but we're going to go really fast, right? So we need the right side. So not the switch, the right. There it is. Right control group right here, right there. So we're going to create a group for the right side. Hit Control G, just like this one here, right? So we're going to hit Control C. So that's FK right leg control group. Oh, no. FK, let's see, where is it? Retake. Okay, so let's do the same thing for the right side, and let's do this quick, right? You can see that we have a right IK control group here, so that's the pull vector, and that's the foot. So let's just group it together and hit Control G for the both of them, right? And we're gonna type IK. Let's do underscore. That will be right leg CTL GRP. Right, so IK right leg control group. So we have everything here. And let's also select the right side for the FK system. So we only have 2 selections. We don't need to select all the controllers. Load it as driven. So those will be driven by the switch from the right side. So don't forget to select the switch from the right side. I know that my first few times doing the IK FK settings, I completely get it messed up. And then it's complete chaos. Okay, so load as driver. We have the right IK switch. Let's do this quick. Select the switch. Take a look at the attribute 0. IK should be turned on. select the visibility, and hit keyframe. Select the FK system, turn off the visibility right here, and set a keyframe. Now we're going to take a look at the switch, bring it to FK, take a look at the IK system, and turn it off. Right, set a keyframe. Select the FK system, visibility will be turned on, and set a keyframe. So that now when we select the IK FK switch, on, off, same thing with this, the other side, on, off, right? Now we got it set. We are done with the FK system. Let's do a quick cleanup of this setup right here. Right, so if you turn off the skeleton, not the mesh, but just the skeleton, and let's make the body non-selective so that we can easily select our controllers. Now we can test the character out. So we have FKs, just making sure that everything works properly. IK, right? Select the controller, easily select it. Whoops, sorry about that. I selected the IK by mistake. Awesome, right? And we still have our follow through for the leg, right? So hit Control Z. We're going to get back to the original bind pose position. We're also going to take a look at the mesh itself, just making sure that the mesh stands firm. And what I mean by that, you can select the skin cluster and the envelope and just switch 0 to 1. And if nothing happens, that's actually a good thing. I had to see something weird on the nose. I think I can easily fix that, but you see that? Yeah, that's kind of weird, right? Right, so always double check your work. And it seems like maybe there's an offset or the rotational value here. See that? Right, set this back, select the mesh, skin cluster on and off. See, that's what we want. So you see the importance of just keeping up with the mesh. Topology is important, but these basics are extremely important. And I know maybe the nose will not affect you after, but it's nice to have a clean topology and a clean symmetrical rig also. And we don't have any issues with the envelope there too. Okay, so that'll be it for the IK-FK system. The quick cleanup is very simple. Simply select all your controllers. Make sure that the skeleton is not there. Body is non-selective. Select all your controllers for the FK system. And what we're going to do now is simply just take the translate out. Well, actually not the translate. Let's just do the scales. We're going to take the scales and the visibility, right mouse click, lock and hide selected. So we do a little cleanup so that the only thing you could do with the FK system right now is pretty much just use your rotations, right? And something's a little off, right? Because if I were to select this is on FK system, but the FK system is not responding, which is kind of weird. It should be responding to the mesh, and that's only because the envelope is at 0. So you see, I get scared too. No! Yeah, there it is, it works. This is the same thing for the other controllers for the spine. Hit Control 1, select all your controllers. Now for the spine, we don't really need scales, okay? We're gonna take our scales out. Excusez-moi. I'm keeping the translates anyways, but not that I really need it. I don't like using translates like this for motion capture. But then again, we are set with a cleanup on the controllers, and then we're going to move on to the reverse foot technique for the next tutorial. Okay, let's do a quick cleanup. We have IKs and FKs. Let's add colors to the controllers. Simply select both of the FK controllers and select the blue icon right here. And you'll notice that you get this notification, which is absolutely normal. It only tells you that there's a hold because of the display, right? So the display layer are kind of like holding these controllers for locking attributes. So what I'm saying is that if I select my FK display layer right here, just delete it. That's it. And where's the delete button? Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. So once you delete it, do it again, right? Shift select both of these, select the blue script right here, blue, so that now we have blue controllers and red controllers. Now the main goal is to have this controller to make the switch from 0 to 10. So when 0 IKs are turned on, the red controllers are showing. And if you go to FK, now the blue controllers will be showing, right? And nothing else. So let's do this right now. We're going to select the FK system right here, and we're going to select the IK system left, right? So that's just two groups right here, and we're going to look for animation key and set driven key. We're going to turn that up. We can actually also create a shortcut as well. We're going to open that up. There it is. Awesome. And we're going to make this controller the driver. So this will be the driver, and that's the switch, FK, IK, right? So we're only concentrating on the visibility right now as we speak, right? That's what we want to do. We want to make it visible, visible, visible. That's my British accent, and it's not working out. I'm going to start with the FK system. So look at the switch, double left mouse click right here, FK, all should be blue, right? So visibility is turned on, select the switch, and set a keyframe. So now when you take the switch, bring that down to 0, and select the FK system, you must select it and turn it off. So now you key it. All right, so we turned it off so that now when we take a look at the switch, you can easily and clearly see that the controllers are on and off. Let's do the same thing for the IK system. See, it's really not that crazy complicated, right? Just visibility options, on and off switch. All right, we're going to select the switch back to 0, right? So 0 is IK. If you still remember, no, that's another script. Never mind. Left IK selected, visibility turned on, so set a key. Take the switch and switch it to 10, which is the FK, right? Select the IK system and turn it off. And then set a keyframe, right? I went a little bit fast just because you can slow it down too, but there is still a lot to cover up for the reverse foot technique, that's why. So now if I select my controller, I can easily see that yes, I am in FK mode because the blue controllers are there, right? So we want to do the same thing for the other side. And now let's do it again one more time all together, but extremely fast, extremely fast, extreme. Sounds like a broken record. Let's go. So we're looking for the, we're looking forward to the right side. You'll notice that this is not grouped together. So I want to make sure that I group it together just like the other side. So I'm going to select both of them and hit Control G. And we're going to call this one right underscore. And let's do IK underscore right underscore leg. Let's put leg or foot actually. Yeah. Foot underscore TTL underscore GRP. Sort of like the same one as these right here, right? See L leg control group, R foot control group. All right, so I want to select this one, and let's also select the FK system for the right side. And we're going to open it with the load driver, or sorry, open this with the set driven key, load driven. It's being driven by the controller right here, the right IKFK switch, load as driver, right? And I want to make sure that I have the same renaming options right here. So IK right, you know, I just sort of want to have the same naming convention here so that no one gets confused after, of course. All right, so let's do this fast again. So we're going to select the switch. Switch is on 10. Select the switch. Select FK, visibility, turned on. Make the switch 10 to 0, right? So now the switch is turned off. Set a keyframe. And we're going to do the same thing for the IK system. It's on IK. Look at the IK group. IK is turned on, which is right. Set a keyframe. Take the switch it to 10, and take the switch for, not the switch, but the IK controller or control group, sorry, and turn it off so that now we turn that switch and activate it. Right, so we select the switch and activate the 10, IK, IK, FK, IK, FK, and that will be it for the legs. All right, we're going to move on to the foot controllers. We're going to create 7 attributes, and I will see you later. Come with me if you want to rig. Come. Now! I hate my life.